you do not know, I have a book called No Handouts for Black Girls. It is a memoir, and it talks about a lot of things that I went through in my life and the corporate world, and it does talk about the beginning of our relationship. I'm going to read from the chapter entitled, You're Single Because You're a Bitch. It hurts to hear, but it's true. During my journey of therapy, meditation, and minding my own business, I learned a vital lesson. And since we're now besties, I'll pass it along to you. If you are a straight woman and you're looking for a straight man, no straight man wants to date another man. Say what now? This is what we look like when we show up drenched in our I don't need a man, I'm a strong Black woman, masculine energy. There is such power in femininity, and it took me almost my whole damn life to figure this out. I prided myself with being able to move well in the streets and the boardroom, which made my dating pool much wider than most. I was feeling myself. You couldn't tell me I wasn't the entire package. That is until one day someone came right out and told me I wasn't all that I thought I was. Apparently, while I thought I was killing the game, it turns out I was being demolished by it. I was repelling men much like lavender repels cockroaches. I was bad, all right. Bad at recognizing, even though I looked good on paper, as one of the men I dated so eloquently advised me, that didn't mean shit if my attitude sucked. Say what now? Being BAD in my mind didn't mean shit if I was putting out signals that the men I wanted weren't attracted to. This was yet again a punch to the gut moment. I was like, what do you mean? My attitude is excellent. I'm great. What the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly.
After my initial shock and anger wore off, I eventually relented, admitted he was right. What made him so special for me to take his statement to heart? Well, he represented the type of men that I could see myself settling down with. He checked most of the things on my list, and the ones he didn't were minor. And here he was telling me that I wasn't it. I could have discarded his comment and him, but he had shown himself to be someone that wasn't easily discarded. It was a few weeks before we spoke after that, but once we did, I was ready and willing to hear him out. When the conversation was over, I had to admit he was right. Damn, I wasn't great. My attitude did suck. Merely being fine just wasn't enough. Girl, I was in my whole ass feelings. I had been walking around thinking my shit was scented of honeysuckle when it smelled like what it was. Shit. And most of the men in my life hadn't bothered to tell me or were presumably okay with the smell because I didn't fit into their long-term plans. I was just there for the moment. I had a way of coming to someone's life, dismantling it, putting it back together with newer, shinier parts. While I was busy doing all of this, I wasn't seeing, or simply refused to see, that I was also breaking some of their other parts, the ones that allowed them to see me as a valuable asset and not just a temporary jump-off. If I was being seen by these men as a liability, there was no way they could afford or allow me to remain in their lives. In the process of dismantling, I was thinking I knew better. Better because I had convinced myself I was smarter, savvier, more informed, more connected, more. I came to learn and better understand that I had been not so subtly delivering the message that these men weren't good enough. So of course I had no other choice but to make them better because it was the only way they stood a chance with me. To a man who has worked to build his own damn self up, that message must have come across loud, bold, and arrogant as shit. Here I was, one of the first to talk about how the world breaks down our men, yet I was doing the same thing. I'm going to pause on that. There's a little bit more, but what are your thoughts?
That's actually what accountability looks like. Women don't like hearing their limitations, what they can't do, what they're not good at, what they should leave alone.
And if we're honest with ourselves, the men who do tell us that are the men who actually care. Because like I said, there were plenty of men who would have never told me that because they never saw me as long term. I was a temporary jump off. And that sucks. Like when I wrote this part of the book, It was very much therapy. And I wrote this book after going to therapy and having to sit my ass down and really, truly look at myself for who I was. And my therapist had to say, Toshiba, this woman who has protected you for this far, she can't come on the rest of this journey with you. Because she's not going to work for the life that you say that you want. Mm-hmm. So sit her ass down, tell her goodbye, write her a goodbye letter, leave her there, but she can't come with you on the rest of this journey. Yeah. And if I'm honest with myself, I don't get to be here with him if that woman had remained.
Oh yeah, and I'm not like totally, to my own horn, but I was in the almost exact opposite place. I had been through some experiences where I was just like, yo, I'll never go through that shit again. Like I tried, again, that happy wife, happy life, on a certain level, yes, absolutely. Like, you can't be dogging your woman. Like, that's not what we're talking about. But being with a woman who is not concerned about your happiness, that ain't it either. Like, that ain't it either. And especially from her perspective, she don't care that she's the thing that's making you unhappy. You gotta cut that out of your life.